Hey guys, Ryan NZ here with a tutorial on Reverb. Now I will give credit to this one. I knew the technique was around and I sort of fiddled with it with sort of gated reverb, but Samuel James put me onto this one, and it's a really good one for leads. I think you can pretty much use it on any sound that you want, but it does work really well with your lead sounds in your song. And it's similar to sort of gated reverb or sidechained reverb, where when you play your synth, you can hear the synth, and then the reverb will only start after you have, after the synth has stopped playing. So it's a really good way to have the best of both worlds. You get your lead synth to sound dry, and it sounds really up, obviously, in your face, because the drier the sound, the more forward in the mix it sounds. But you also get to have the big reverb afterwards, because you're doing this technique. So I have a very dry electro sort of bassline sound there, and this is what you do. So you send the first one off to a bus, and you turn the output of the bus off. So if I'll just bring these down a little bit. So if I send the whole lot off, you can see it's actually triggering in this bus, and I'll call it maybe lead sidechain. So it's all obviously going through there, but nothing's being played. So no audio is coming out of that one there. And then you want to send the next one off to another bus where we're going to just choose any reverb, and we'll make it obvious. So this one's obviously on 100% wet, no dry. And if I was to send it across, bit of reverb being added, as you can hear. Now, with that pretty much all being sent across, there is very little dry sound now. Like, the whole of this bassline sound is now wet of reverb. And with this technique here, I'll just back that off. We can actually have it so we have the big reverb as well as the dry, crispy bass right in your face. Okay, so we just bring up a compressor here, and we go up to the side chain, and then we select bus 1, because this is going to have, this is going to be the trigger of the synth. Now, it definitely works better if you put the compressor after the, if I bring these down, and I can show you probably afterwards. It works better if you have the compressor after the reverb. So you can hear kind of straight away that, the sound is doing what I'm talking about, but we can do a few things here to smoothen it out. Well, maybe I could try and exaggerate it first. So you can see here the reverb, after I've let the note go on my keyboard, depending on how I've got the attack and the release set, and all these other settings as well, affects how that reverb is actually introduced after the note is released on my keyboard. So you can obviously do some fiddling, and you can get it to be nice and smooth, or however you want it. So if I was to give an example. Okay, so if I just back off this bus a lot, you can hear the dry sound there. Okay. So this setting here, you can really hear that even though I've basically fed all of it through to that reverb, when I press down my note, you can actually still hear the original lead, or the original bass line, crystal clear. It's right in your face. Okay, now if I was to swap it around the other way and have the compressor above and before the reverb, See, with those exact same settings, and I just fed more of it into the reverb. You can hear that you no longer have the dry sound of Anna, that bass line coming through unaffected. So that's why if I just simply put it underneath the reverb again, even if I left it at the same send amount again as I did when it was just up here, you can hear that this is coming through, this bassline sound is coming through perfectly, and then the reverb comes in afterwards. And I mean, if I was to bypass that and then put in a gate, you can sort of do the similar thing, you know. Let's choose the right trigger again. That was the bus 1. And of course, if you were to fiddle around with this, you can do something very similar. You don't get as much control, and you can hear that you can really get some much more pronounced effects if you use the compressor. So, yeah, it's nothing like it's not a groundbreaking technique. Like I knew it was around, and I was always struggling to, you know, select the right, you know, trigger for my sidechain and put the sidechain. I was putting the sidechain before the reverb and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. So credit goes to Samuel James for that one. Yeah, it's a really good tip. It will help with your mix downs, you know, hopefully, because you can you know, you can get your lead sounds to be nice and up in your face at the front of the mix, as well as you can have that nice reverb to make the sound appear pretty big. Yeah, anyway, enjoy. We'll see you again next time.